All right.
Okay, very good. So first, can you tell me about the context in which you do mob programming? And,
Yes, sure. So
yeah.
I work as a software development coach for AppCont, and we're a consultant agency. We are based in Austria. We have also like international ambitions. But mainly now I work at AppCont Labs, where our goal is to develop new and also old talent. Like sort of creating a safe environment where people can grow, they can gather experience, and they're working on internal software products. We do have a few teams here, and sometimes the teams are quite stable over a longer period, but sometimes it can be very fluctuating. So there's that.
Okay.
As a coach, I do have more programming sessions every day with the teams. And also people are encouraged to do pair programming, more programming, whatever. At their work, they are encouraged to do it, but they don't have to. Yeah.
Okay.
And as people are mostly spread out through several locations, we're mostly doing remote mob programming.
Okay. Great. Yeah. And so to recap, AppCont is a consulting agency.
Yes.
And you work in the division or department where you grow new people or develop them. Okay, great. So and you're using mob programming mostly for the growing and development of people at your department. Is that right?
Yes, I have also used it at projects, at real projects. But right now, as I'm almost exclusively working with this, this is where we do it. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And about the projects to which you apply it, are they complex or simple or what's?
I would say they are rather simple. They're not that big. They're some are smaller than others, of course. Some might get bigger in the time, but so I wouldn't say they are complex.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, and how does that affect the results of mobbing itself? Because I've heard some people think that, well, mobbing is useful if the problems you solve are complex. And yeah,
we are solving a lot of complicated problems working on these simple products. So
okay,
there's that. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So the mob purpose is partly coding, I suppose, and developing new features.
We are developing new features. We are refactoring. We are improving the quality of our code. Those kinds of things. We are also using it in learning hours. Like sometimes we do like mob programming RPG to practice it with the people or to learn something new. But typically it's just development work.
Okay, and about about the department in which you're at, I suppose you do some kinds of coding dojos or develop like pet projects with which you teach developers and use mobbing.
Yes, so we do have every week learning hours, and there we are practicing something often on some katas, and also we have like every 2 months we have like a bigger event, a whole day, a coding dojo where we are practicing, where everybody in the company can join. So that's that. So pet projects, some would maybe but the projects we're working on, they are really important to the company. So they're at the core business. It's not. It's important products that are used every time in the company, and they have to be working. They are important, and no, there's so yeah. We are using katas for practicing.
Yeah. Okay. Great. And did the company start with mobbing initially, or it was introduced to the teams?
No.
Okay. And how did that happen?
When I first joined this sort of labs, I introduced it. I learned about it years ago. I practiced it occasionally. I practiced it at code retreats, and I heard a lot of in talks about it, particularly for the soul, and it sounded. Of course it would work. Why would it not? and so I had to try it.
Yeah.
And I did. Yeah.
Okay. And how did you introduce it to the team? Was there some pushback or something?
No. So 99% of the time, it works really smoothly. People just come in here. They accept that we do it. The most of the people also like it. There are some people who also like and they just feel safe, I guess, working more by themselves, and they enjoy this more. So, and so mob programming is not something they would do all the day. But also they are happy to join in mob programming. There is no real pushback. No, I wouldn't say that. I would rather say that people enjoy it and that the people have a high intrinsic motivation of how we work here.
Okay. And did you how did you show it the first time? For example, did you tell people, well, here's an interesting concept, let's try it, or was a different approach used?
No, I just did it.
Okay.
I just introduced it, and we just did it. Yes.
Okay.
So since I'm shifting a little bit between being a coach, also being a servant lead, and in this case, I just introduced it. That's it.
Okay. Wow, it works pretty smooth. Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. And before doing more programming, were there any issues with delivery, with quality of the organization? Okay.
Yes. There was we had quality wasn't really there, and we had a lot of feature branches, hundreds, that we had to throw away, that were never got finished, like work that was never getting done. And it was more like people working on feature branches, sometimes by their own, doing merge requests, and sometimes work got too big and then it never got finished. We totally turned that around. So we yeah.
And so how much time did it take to remove the feature branches, to improve the quality and delivery and so on?
Yes, so it is an ongoing process. It is an ongoing process still. We did it step by step. We tried something and we constantly rethink how we can do it better and better and better. And it is changing all the time. And we have gotten pretty good at the point. So, for example, one team, there are a lot of juniors in the team, and they went from being rather shy and not getting much work done to shipping to production at least once every week. for several weeks, and sometimes more than a week, and without any problems. And I can recall one time there was one little bug and they fixed it in 2 hours. So I'm very proud.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. That's so these are the things that mobbing improved in the organization. Is there anything that actually became worse because of mobbing?
I don't know of anything that has gotten worse.
Okay. Okay. And what mob size do you work in particularly?
Yeah, this depends on the team size. Typically, we have a mob size between 3 to 6 people.
Okay.
If we have sometimes maybe somebody sick or they are on vacation, and maybe we just have 2 people without me, and then and maybe they're already used to mobbing. Sometimes I just join the mob and I really program with the people. So. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And what roles do you usually have in a mob?
Usually I'm facilitating it. I'm making sure that we work well together in the environment that we have, like working remotely, so that we do proper rotations, that we do code handovers, that this works rather smoothly, and that people adhere to their roles and they are kind to each other and nice to each other. And occasionally, I try to keep out of it as much as I can, but sometimes I feel like I have to nudge them a little bit or ask them a question or sort it out so there is one goal, that we keep the direction, those kinds of things. Or I give them ideas or tips about the keyboard shortcut. I don't know, something about software design maybe.
Yeah,
it's what I do. Yeah.
Okay, and the rest of the people are usually software developers.
They are software developers, yeah.
Yeah, and
we have testers, we have backend developers, we have front-end developers, test automation engineers, requirement engineers, Scrum masters. So different sorts of roles are in the teams.
Okay. And I suppose you're not facilitating all of the mob programming sessions, but mainly.
No, I'm not. As much as I can, I have them daily with different teams, and they often do it themselves also. And they also tell me about it, what they did and what worked well. So it's interesting. Yeah.
Okay. And how long are the mobbing sessions? How frequent during the day?
Yes. So a mobbing session for us is at least 2 hours. Might be longer, maybe even 3 hours, but then you need a break. And sometimes we work the whole day together. We had that too.
Okay, so
in a mob, yeah.
So it's mostly 2 hours per day, and then everyone has to do whatever they like.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, great. And how do you do mob retrospectives?
So we do them all the time. Like after every mob session, we do retrospectives. I use a format called micro retro. I learned it from Bob Allen. I think he learned it from Fred Soul, which is where you ask people like, how did that feel, and what worked well, what you want to do more of it. So the idea is to turn up the good. And I added a third question now, which is, what is an experiment we didn't do, but I would like to try to foster experimentation?
Okay.
Which is also a nice one. I like it.
Great. And which was the second question?
Second question was, what worked so well that we want to do more of it?
Okay. So it's positive and
yes, it's about turning up the good. It's about realizing what happened that worked well. Yes,
Okay.
and also remembering it so that we keep doing it and keep doing more of it.
Yeah, that's really cool. Okay, so each 2 hours you do the retrospective. You don't do it during the session itself, or?
No, we don't do it during the session. We do it after the session. Happens that there are discussions within the session, but I do not count it as retrospective.
Yeah, okay. And the session itself, how do you split it in intervals? For example, for how many minutes the driver
interesting, yeah.
drives and so on.
So I want to stay lower than 10 minutes. And it depends on the size of the mob. When the size of the mob is bigger, I want to have less minutes. I want to have a faster rotation so that people don't have to wait as much to get on the driving seat again.
Okay.
So that I want to keep the people engaged.
Yeah.
If the mob is smaller, rotations might take longer. Maybe we do 8 minutes or something like that. But I really want to stay lower than 10 minutes. Sometimes we do have a work that needs a very specific setup on a machine where it's not that easy to get into the setup and fiddling with it. And then it might happen that one person drives 30 minutes, but that's just a very rare occasion. So that's the exception.
Okay. Just let me note that. Good. And are you in the usual driver navigator setup, or you try other setups? Okay.
No, we are typically in driver navigator. We tried also driver navigator facilitator. But not that often actually. And now we're just doing driver navigator and it works really well for us.
Okay. And probably when you do dojos or katas, you go over the mob RPG where you try different roles.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, and another question is, how do you find mobbing compared to pairing? Do you have such comparison?
Interesting. So I think it's different. On pairing, you just have 2 person. On mobbing, you might have more persons, so you have more minds, more ideas, more perspectives, and so what I like about mob programming is when you develop software, there's multiple problems you have to account for at the same time. So you have to account for writing the code, typing in the code, use your tooling. That can by itself already be quite a challenge. If you know your tool well, if you think about, which shortcut or refactoring or trick do I use now to make this efficiently, that can be quite a challenge. So if one person focuses on just that, and another person has a more higher level, like a design perspective, deciding on what we do next, that by itself is already quite a complicated task. And when a driver, when a navigator is working with a driver they can trust to type in well, this is so rewarding. So it takes a lot of a burden of your mind, and you can way better concentrate on the design, on the navigation. And then the other people in the mob, they have yet another level or another perspective. They can think ahead, or they can research. Maybe they have a specific knowledge that the 2 people don't have, or an idea they are missing. So all the time I noticed that it was necessary to have many more minds than just two to work on that problem. And so it's just helping. Yeah.
Yes. You can split the work in real time, but avoid the bottlenecks which usually happen when splitting the work between people.
Yeah. So like working by yourself, like with your tooling, typing and designing and thinking ahead, architecture, it's yes, you can do it, but you won't be able to do it as well.
Yes. It's too many responsibilities.
Yeah.
In a single mind. Okay, and what about the experience of the individuals that participate?
Sorry, can you repeat the question?
How experienced are the
How
participating
experienced? Yeah.
individuals?
So it is mixed. We have everything from seniority to juniority, but we do have more juniors.
Okay.
More entry-level developers. Yeah.
Okay. Good. And I suppose even though there are more juniors in the mobbing sessions, the quality doesn't go down because
no, because there are all the people give input about quality or give feedback about quality doing the live code review, and even the juniors, they get the hang of it real quick. They also start noticing those things that maybe a senior noticed earlier. So they're getting the hang of it. And even when they then fall back to working by themselves for a while, it leads to a more coherent and a better design overall and a higher quality.
Okay, and I suppose juniors manage to learn really fast and grow.
Yes, they grow really fast. It works really well. It amazes me how fast this can work. Like if you work in a mob, people are doing they are making the connections, they are experiencing how we work, what decisions we make, and how, and this is closing the gap rather quick. I would say.
Okay. Great. And regarding the mob programming setup, what tools do you use? How are you equipped? How do you do it remotely?
Yes. As we are doing mostly remotely, we have to have some way to hand over the code while we are programming. And we are using MobSH for that. It's a command line tool, a Git wrapper, where you just type a command and you hand over the code to the next person.
It's like gitmob or?
Mob.sh. And this is the name of the tool, but also the web address, mob.sh.
Yes.
Yeah.
Great.
And we just hand over the screen sharing. We use a video call tool, hand over the screen sharing. We make sure that everything that's happening is happening on screen, that we can see it. And we are using a timer for the rotations.
And would you mind sharing the names of the tools that you use, like for the screen sharing, the timer?
The timer we use mob timey, I think is the web address. And sometimes we also use a timer that MobSH is shipping with. It also has a mob timer. It works a little bit different, however.
Okay.
And for screen sharing, we use Google Meet. Works good enough for us.
Okay. And do you have any specific like microphones that you're using, cameras and such stuff?
No, honestly, nothing specific. I mean, I do have quite a good mic. I do have not a good camera, but it's not that important. in terms of quality, we rarely have any issue. Occasionally, there is maybe somebody who doesn't have that good of an internet connection, and therefore they turn off camera, and then it works better. But other than that, no big deal. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So Gregor, these are all my questions basically. So
yeah.
if you'd like to add something at the end, I'd appreciate it. Some thoughts.
Yeah, I need to say, so if somebody is listening to this and they want to try more programming, I can just encourage to try it and to see for yourself. Maybe you can find on the internet some facilitation document or information how to do it, and then you're already good to go. Just try it. Maybe try it first on some practice, maybe a kata, just getting used to it, and the next time do it on a real project. Yeah.
Great. So, okay, thank you. It was really valuable, and I really appreciated that and really enjoyed the talk with you, Gregor. So, yeah, thanks
Thank
a
you,
lot.
Tvetan. I also enjoyed the talk with you, and thank you for having me.
Okay, bye.
Bye.